Yo, what's up? It's your boy Doe, and this is the first episode of FLICKS. So tonight we're going to check out this highly anticipated movie that I've been trying to see, or been waiting to see since the first trailer. So we're going to check out tonight, Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan. There's a lot of people in this particular movie that come from different shows and actually made that transition to this particular role. That's probably going to take them to the next level. I'm hearing great things about this movie, so all I really want to do is enjoy myself. And we're going to get into the topics of what makes FLICKS the FLICKS. So most importantly, let's start out with the story. The story kicks off with two identical twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, from rural Mississippi in 1930s. They have a reputation already in their hometown, but moved away to Chicago to reinforce that. They become these big-time gangsters and come back to rural Mississippi to start up a juke joint. Now, in that process, they deal with some unfinished turmoil that was left there before they left. And on the very first night of their actual juke joint being open, they encounter some uninvited guests, which pretend to be a problem, and they are vampires. And that's when the story kicks off to have an even deeper impact. Next up is sound. Now this film has an amazing score by Lin-Gorison. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, along with a slew of other people who contributed to the soundtrack and the score as a whole. Now, the sound design of it was brilliant. The actual soundtrack, and there's a few songs that's been raving across the internet, which I'll let you figure those particular things out, especially that one song in particular that combines this whole entire mystical scene. Now, that's when you get to the sound design, being super accurate and professional and drawing you in to that particular scene that was happening, all the music that was going around, the emotion that was impactful. And on top of that, you actually had the mixing of that. That took a lot, which I think a lot of people probably didn't pick up, but all the different genres of music or the different types of music that was in this particular scene, how it was mixed together, and even the vocals coming out clean and impactful and all super powerful that it was in that scene. So sound design, score, mixing, everything was on point. Now we go to the shots. Now, opening up with the shot leading into the church, which was excellent. Great composition, great tone. And it also struck a part that this was happening. This is how the film first started. This is the first shot of the film. So when it comes into it, what happened? What's going on with his face? Why all this happened in that situation? When the church door opens and you see the congregation and the pastor standing there, that nature. Another shot that stuck out to me was a part when they were actually sitting outside the actual juke joint. And the fact that you couldn't see any of the trio's eyes until it was time to see their eyes. Also, the shot that I was speaking about earlier when they were listening to the music, and you'll actually see the shot where the entire juke joint was on fire and all the walls had burnt down and there were actually embers and stems that was left of the building. But of course, when they panned through it again, the building was intact for that nature. The scene at the end, it's just too many different ones when the actual chaos exploded, and I guess it was, maybe you would probably say, payback that was coming from that. That shot was one of the shots that sold me in the actual trailer, where the Tommy gun in slow motion and the sound of that particular gun and Michael B. Jordan's face, the way it looks behind that. Because you had no idea why he was doing what he was doing, but in the movie you understand why. So lastly, it's experience. Now I tend to see my movies in Dolby because since I've actually experienced that for the very first time, I never look past it. If the movie isn't in Dolby, I tend to don't see it, or I just make a sacrifice for it. This was such a big film and had an impact on me since the first trailer. I said I'm going to experience it in the way the director intended it to be. So IMAX was my first choice of seeing it. Now, I can't front. IMAX was pretty tough. The sound was nice, including from the trailers that was coming up before that, which drew me into saying this might have been a good choice. So IMAX, still top notch, but the very next night I went to go see it in Dolby, and Dolby stepped it up 2 notches higher. So again, if you tend to watch things in either one of the theaters, my preference went with Dolby, but only by 2. This is actually the first movie to ever get even close to that. So both experiences were great, but I'm gonna edge out Dolby for the better particular experience. For me, that's what it was. All in all, that being said, this is definitely wins the movie reel for me, because this is a movie you should definitely see in the theaters. If not once, unlike me, probably going to be like 3 times. So you got to see it in the theater. Now, I think it's also something you should probably own, because who knows what extra footage they're going to have on there or some behind the scenes. I'm a big fan of trying to find out how they made it and all the little tidbits that go along with it. So I'm definitely going to be buying that either on the actual physical media or definitely digital. But this definitely wins the one reel for what you need to do. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you tune in next time when we bring some new stuff and revisit some old things that you may take a look at as well too. But I'm your boy Doe, and I'll see you next time. Let's catch a flick.